Hello ride-on people. Well, spring has sprung, beautiful weather, and this weekend's adventure is to go to a BMW and Ducati dealer who's having an open house and barbecue and ride some of their demo bikes. I don't know what demo bikes they'll have, but I'm sure there'll be lots of fun to enjoy and compare and film and provide a bit of feedback to you, and perhaps it's a model that you'll be interested in and will appreciate the feedback. Anyway, it's going to be about 70 degrees, low humidity, low breeze, and should be A1 PT perfect, so stay tuned. Firstly, let me apologise for the sound quality in this video. I'm trying out a totally brand new rig. I've upgraded to a Hero 6 Black, and I have an inline mic and a new microphone for that, and I just didn't have time to do any proper testing with it prior to this video. I think you'll be pleased with the improvements in the video quality, which is significantly better than my older camera, and I'll sort the sound out, I'm sure, given time, making sure it's in the right place and set at the right volume, and I'll try and speak up a little because I'm very quietly spoken and that doesn't really help on the videos, so apologies for that.
Okay, so I'm on the, I think it's Star White, they call this colour, Ducati Multistrada 950, which I'm going to ride back to back with the new 1260 Multistrada for direct comparison, and also I guess comparison with my current GS Adventure 1200. Now, ergonomically it's definitely a little bit more cramped than the 1200s, obviously, a little less leg room, a little more kind of strangely upright legs at kind of 90 degrees, a lot like a regular street bike, but the bars feel really nice. They're a little bit closer and feel kind of perfect width. Gearbox is feeling relatively smooth. I have the screen set in the lowest setting. We get out on the freeway, I'll push it up to the higher setting, easily adjusted by this little lever here. You've got on the left hand switch gear here, you've got press the button and the modes come up. You can toggle up and down through the modes, and you can select them again just by pressing the button and holding it there. Sport, touring, urban, enduro. I'm currently in touring. Picking up the speed now, they've got the screen up. Heading into the freeway for the first time. Nice sweeping curve. Quite more effort than I thought actually to push the bike down and get into that turn. Very breezy here. I apologise if there's lots of wind noise. The weight of this bike, or lack of, compared with the big 1200s, particularly the behemoths like the GS Adventure and Super Tenere and the like, and of course the Multistrada Enduro with the big fuel tank, very noticeable in this 950. Much lighter bike, very agile feeling, very comfortable in terms of maneuverability. I find my legs reaching the ground easier than on my GS Adventure with the lowered suspension on my particular GS Adventure, so very comfortable for shorter people. Still not the lowest bike, of course, because at the end of the day these are adventure bikes, and the 950's not exactly a small bike, although back in the day a 950 was a big bike, and now it's considered almost a middleweight really. And I think it'd be interesting on this ride to kind of figure out whether the next time I buy an adventure bike, whether the agility, lower weight, and I guess easier price to buy into, price point wise, is going to be better in terms of the middleweight adventure bike, or whether to stick with the big 1200s. I definitely noticed at the lower revs, when we're at kind of 3,000-4,000 revs, it's definitely more juddery than the GS Adventure. Part of that is because this is a V-twin, and you always have that at the particularly low revs, versus the Boxer, which kind of just wants to keep going. They're big thumps, but it generally wants to keep going well. Well, that gives a low speed handling impression, which is just sublime. I mean, obviously you don't feel the weight when you're doing that compared with the 1200s, that's for sure. And interestingly, the guy that was behind me on a 1260 Multistrada, he's actually dropped back one place, but he's on the 950. Sorry, he owns a 950, I should say. It'd be interesting, before I ride the 1260, if I'm able to ask him what his overall thoughts are, because obviously ownership and riding the bike every day is very different from first initial impressions. Yeah, that feels better. Once you get it to sing above 4 grand there, it starts to kick in a bit. Let's flip this over onto sport mode. That's a nice little interlude. Wow, it's so much more agile than 1200s. Well, I hope he lets me really like that. That's pretty cool. That'll look good on the camera. Here we go. Oh no, can't believe the guys still haven't caught up with us. Sorry, I went a bit all Starsky and Hutch on you there. Sorry about that. Showing my age. Alright, come on, Mr. Husky. Woo! Come on, guys, keep up. What else can I say about this bike? Well, the seat feels pretty firm actually. Now I'm starting to feel that maybe on a long ride, on the sort of rides I do, 200 and 250 mile days, might be a bit of a problem. That I like the shape of it. It's got a nice curve to it, so the overseat measurement, it feels kind of pretty good, you know, which benefits you whether you're short or tall. It's not the widest seat, although it's certainly as wide as my skinny derriere, and it's just kind of padding wise could do a little bit more. Of course that obviously adds to ride height, and then you start alienating your potential customers, so I guess it's a reasonable compromise. But I think if I had one, I might have to spring $400-500 for a Corbin saddle. Oh, I bet this is a beast on the twisties. I'm just dying to razz this thing. I'm dying to put twice as many revs as I've got on the dials right now. Peg this thing through some twisty bends, because I think its agility and groom factor might outweigh the slight deficit in comfort. And of course you put some panniers on this thing, and technically it's just as practical as the big bike, although if you ride 2 up with your partner very often, 1200 is a no-brainer really. But for solo riding, then middleweight 950s are pretty good. There's quite a bit of dive in the front forks in this, but the rear is very firm, barely moves, but the front has quite a lot of movement. Probably quite good that for general bump management. Clocks are pretty clear, they're not really, you know, as good as the latest Triumph and BMW full colour TFTs, but pretty nice all the same. And this is obviously appealing to a key price point as well, because some of the people buying this may really want the 1260 and just cannot stretch to that kind of money, or cannot justify it. And of course BMW have come out now with their new 850s with the full TFT screens that are available on the 1200 and I think RT this coming year. But the quotes on this are at least clear, and you've got all the information you need. You've got the time of day, gear, air temperature, traction control setting, which is 4, ABS 2, engine temperature 165, so it's pretty cool, pretty nice, although we're hardly razzing it. As I say, nice big clear gear indicator, nice big clear mile per hour, and a pretty clear fuel gauge. I like what they've done here, because there's not much room to indicate fuel, but they've used a lot of increments, so it really gives you a good indication of where you are. in terms of available gas left in the tank. Switch gear, actually pretty good. Without not too much lateral movement, there's a little bit, which I normally expect from Ducati, irrelevant or Audi owning them or whatever. And this one quick and easy way, I think you can tell the quality of a bike. If you check out the switchgear on the latest Triumphs, the new Tigers, or the Kawasaki Z900 RS, you'll see there's really no play in these switchgear switches, and I think that's an instant indication that tolerances are tight and they care about fit and finish. I like this general shape. I like this little tricolore colour insert here, the red, white and green for Italia. Nice to see little marks. If you don't know what these are quality control marks where they've nipped it up to the correct torque setting and then they've put a nice little line here. Bikes like the adventure bikes, relevant to capacity, score highly in real world because they can handle the twisties, they can handle passengers, they can handle luggage, got a decent tank range, and yeah, they're fast enough, and they fuel well generally at low speeds, and they cruise well at high speeds. It's certainly going to be interesting to see how I feel about the 1260 after this. The overall impression of this bike is I really like the lack of weight. Diesel crap. I think in emergency situations, like there really, where I didn't realise we were turning right, not exactly emergency, but you brake harder than you would normally, your line's not the way it should be. You know, you haven't got the road positioning, and you have to suddenly change line under braking. It's much nicer than 1200s because, you know, you've got that agility. For me, I'd have to stiffen up the front end, and looking down, yeah, we're okay there. So you can adjust the preload and the rebound, compression, damping, whatever, it looks fully adjustable. I would love to ride the brand new for 2018 Tiger 800 to feel a direct comparison, but if I was buying a middleweight kind of 850, 900cc adventure bike, this would be high on the list.
So, riding the Ducati Multistrada 950, what did I think of that overall? Well, it's a bike I really like actually. I think it's much lighter and more agile than the 1200s. It's steered a lot better than the 1260 Multistrada in my personal opinion. And it's got an engaging engine that's easy to use. You know, it's only 113 horsepower, which is enough. You know, you could cruise along probably 100 miles an hour all day long if you wanted to, so it's quick enough. But it's also very accessible mid-range power, so kind of, you know, 3 to 8,000 revs, it's got it all going on, and it's really enjoyable to use there. What stands out the most, I think, is the lighter weight against the bigger bikes. So, you know, unless you're going two-up touring for 2 weeks, if you generally ride solo and you generally ride on day rides, or perhaps commute on the bike, generally makes more sense, I think, than the bigger bikes. It's at a keen price point and just the agility of the thing. And that's a good safety point as well. If you get a corner wrong, you have to adjust your line, or the car pulls out on you, you have to stop quickly or adjust your line to avoid a collision with the car. Light is right, there's no way about that. Something that's lighter aids all types of performance. That just doesn't mean just top speed, but it means acceleration, it means braking, it means turning. It even means pushing it around on your driveway. It's a lot easier with a lighter bike. And I'm sure most people are enamored by big beasts like this, and like the idea of the bigger engine bikes, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if you can't live without big horsepower, or you've never owned a big bike with lots of power, by all means enjoy that. You know, buy that with confidence and enjoy. Now, for me personally, if I was buying an adventure bike again, I've had I don't know, 4 or 5 big capacity adventure bikes, And for me personally, I go for what is now classed as the middleweights. They used to be big bikes, but the middleweights, kind of 850 to 950. There's a good choice, particularly in the new forthcoming F800 GS from BMW. They're just released and very highly spec'd and really well built, Tiger 800, and this Multistrada. The only thing that's starting to date this Multistrada slightly is the kind of plain LCD clocks. Can't believe I'm saying that, old fashioned. But the TFT colour screens on the BMW and particularly on the new Tiger, I think they're just great, and they really help give it that kind of modern air and feel. I think the GS and the Tiger are a little bit down on horsepower compared with the Multistrada, so performance is really a driver, and of course Ducati are the Ferrari of motorcycles. If the sportiness appeals to you, probably the 950s for you. For those seeking more of an all-rounder, probably the Tiger. That'll be probably the best one for daily use, and maybe the GS for off-road use. I'm not sure, although the Tiger's been greatly improved in the XC models for the off-road usage, so check those out. But all things considered, and particularly if you can get one at the right price, and I've seen some advertised with a couple of $1,000 discount, for instance, I think the 950 Multistrada could be a bit of a steal. Check it out. So I hope you like the video, and I hope you like my videos. I try to release a video every Friday morning. Gives you something to watch during your Friday lunch break perhaps, or over the weekend. And I truly appreciate you watching them, and as long as you enjoy, if you can forward them on to your friends, that's always a bonus as well. And thanks very much for supporting my channel. I very much appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, that's vitally important. I need more subscribers, otherwise I won't be doing this next year. Basically, if my subscriber rate doesn't improve significantly, so I appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thank you. You know what I'm going to say now. Last but not least, ride often, ride carefully, ride on.